Hi everyone, I want to share with you 4 tools that you can use to create virtual whiteboards in a Google Meet. You could also do this in a Zoom meeting or any other tool that allows you to share your screen. Today we'll be taking a look at annotating PDFs using the app Zoto, Google Jamboard, Chrome Canvas, and also Whiteboard.fi. For this presentation, I'll be using my iPad to do all of the whiteboard writing. However, you could also use a touchscreen device or a cell phone, or you can even use your mouse. It's just quality level will vary depending on the device you use. So let's go ahead and get started with annotating PDFs. I'm using the app Zoto, and what I've done is I've downloaded my slides as a PDF, and now I can use the annotation tools directly in Zoto to write on my text, or write on my slides. So there's the pen tool, the highlighter tool, pencil, eraser. There's even a ruler if you need to draw straight lines. So you have this option to do all of your annotations directly on the PDF. Depending on how you set up your slides will determine whether or not it's easy for students to read what you're writing. So I recommend that you consider doing something like this, where you have a white section of the slide, or at least a lighter color so that it's easier. Or if you're going to use dark colors, make sure you're using a light colored pen. That's the annotation option. It's just one of 3. I do like it because it allows you to prepare your slides ahead of time. It allows you lots of options with the different tools that are available there. So this is one of the 3 options that one of the 4 options we're going to talk about today. Next, we're going to talk about Google Jamboard. So here I am on jamboard.google.com. I've created a new board, and I've got a whole bunch of different options that I can use to write on this board. There's the different pen tools, and then there's the eraser tool, there's a selection tool. This one's kind of nice, it's the sticky note tool. So it lets you create sticky notes with text, like that. And then there's the option to insert images, so you can upload an image directly from your computer or your device, or you can also search the web for images. And then there's the shapes tool, which is relatively new, and also the text tool. The last tool down here is just the laser pointer, which turns your cursor into a little red dot. So as you're moving, the red dot appears so you can point and highlight to certain things. So that's the Jamboard. It is nice because you can add additional frames. So as you're working, you can add another frame up here at the top so that you don't have to lose any of your work. And it's also collaborative, so you could share the link to this board with your students and they would be able to join you and write on the board with you as well, which is a nice tool. It's very limited in some of the features that it has. It doesn't have as many options as the annotation does, but that collaboration tool is a really useful one when you want everybody working on the same document. So that's one of the reasons I really like Jamboard. So here I am on the Chrome canvas. It's just canvas.apps.chrome. This one is literally just a drawing tool. So it's a white screen. You can change the background. And then you've got all of these different writing tools over here on the side. So you've got your pencil, you've got your pen, your marker, you even can use chalk or an eraser. So it is a nice tool for drawing. There's no inserting images or text or anything like that. It's not a collaborative tool, so you can't have anybody working with you. But if you ever just want to either draw images or write messages in handwriting, this is a good tool for that. You can share it over Google Meet like I'm doing now so that you can share it with your students and they can see. This might be something that art teachers would really like to use to show specific techniques and things like that within an art class. So this is the Chrome Canvas. It's probably my least favorite of the whiteboard tools just because it is so limited in what it can be used for, but it's still a nice tool to have. And the next one we're going to look at is the Whiteboard.fi, which is probably my favorite of the whiteboards. So now this brings us to Whiteboard.fi, which is the 4th and final of the whiteboard apps that I want to talk about. So as a teacher, when I go to this site, I'm going to go ahead and click on New Class, and I'll show you what it looks like for the students. And then I'm going to put in my name. There's a few different options here. The one that I really want to make sure that I have is the enable images so that students can add images to their text. The last 2 are good to encourage your students to use and turn on for themselves if they've got slow connections, because both of those will reduce the amount of bandwidth that they're using on their devices. So then we go ahead and click the Create New Class button. And that takes me here to this page where I've got the link that I can give to my students. I can also just give them that code that's right there at the end, the N82EA, and that'll take them directly to this whiteboard. And again, I'll show you what it looks like from the student side in just a moment. For now, I'm going to go over to the My Whiteboard. And so this is my board. I can share it across a Google Meet like this for students to see, but also students are allowed to view the teacher's whiteboard without having to share your screen. So that is one of the nice features about this, and I'll show you how that works. But again, we've got the pencil tool, an eraser tool, text, shape, and images as well. But the one tool that I really want to talk about that makes this one kind of unique, especially for math teachers, is down here in the action section. You can insert grids and mathematical equations. So you can insert equations with mathematical formatting and things like that, which is a really nice feature that none of the other whiteboards have. So that's one of the reasons I really like this. So that's there. Again, like I mentioned, the simple mode and the slow mode are good if you have poor connection. They do take away some of the functionality, including that equation mode. So it's not always the best. But like I said, this is how you could present your screen. But if you're a student, so let's go ahead and open a new window. So there are two ways for students now to join your class. They can either click the link that you shared directly with them, or if they've gone to Whiteboard.fi, they can click Join Class and then type in that code that I showed you earlier, and then join. And here you can see they have a whiteboard just like the teacher. Up here at the top is the option to toggle to the teacher's whiteboard. Now let me go back to the other window so that I can show you the teacher screen again. So again, I'm displaying this through a Google Meet, but they wouldn't need the meeting tool to see my board because of the way it's set up. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to write an equation. So that's now on my board as the teacher. If I go back to the student's board, so here they are on the student's page. If they hit the toggle teacher whiteboard, they'll see what I've written on my board. So now they can see that equation that I've written, and they can go back down here to their board, and they can write their answer. Then from the teacher's display, I can go to the My Class section, and on this page, I can now see all of my students' boards and their responses. So if I had multiple students, I would see all of them. And depending on your bandwidth connection, you can actually see them writing as they're working. So this is a nice tool if you really want to have that interactive aspect and you want students to each have their own board where they're responding. So I really like this one for interaction and for collaboration. It's not great if you're just presenting because, again, you can't prepare anything in advance. So I think for doing presentations and direct instruction style of lessons, I still like the annotating PDFs the best. But this one is definitely my favorite for the interaction aspect with students because each student has their own board. And I don't have to be sharing my screen with the students. They can just go to that website, and then we can just be using the meeting as a call, or we might not even need the meeting. We could just be using chat, however we wanted to do it, because they're able to view the board directly on the site. So I just want to say thanks again for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. Those were the 4 different tools that I wanted to cover. I still think that the PDF annotation is probably my favorite because it allows me to prepare in advance, but I also really like the collaborative aspect and the interactive aspect of the Whiteboard.fi, as well as the collaborative aspect of Jamboard, and Canvas has a lot of really great drawing tools. So there's probably something that you could use from each of these tools in your classrooms or in your meetings. So I hope you found it helpful. Have a wonderful day.